Captain Lee Jinwoo rubbed his tired eyes as he stared at the navigation screen. His ship had been traveling through deep space for 3 weeks, checking empty star systems and taking notes about planets that might be useful someday. It was boring work, but someone had to do it. The human colonies needed to know what was out there. "Captain, you need to see this," called Navigator Park Sola from her station. Her voice sounded strange, like she had seen something impossible. Jinwoo walked over to her console and looked at the readings. The numbers made no sense. According to the sensors, there was nothing ahead of them. Empty space, no stars, no planets, no asteroids. Just darkness. But the gravity readings told a different story. They showed massive objects floating in that empty space, things so big they bent space itself. "Run the scan again," Jinwoo ordered. "The equipment might be broken." Park Sola pressed the buttons and waited. The same results appeared on her screen. Empty space that somehow contained enormous structures. She looked up at the captain with worried eyes. "Sir, I've checked everything twice. The sensors are working fine. There's something out there, but we can't see it." Science Officer Yoon Hana walked over to join them. She had been monitoring communications from their home base when she heard the discussion. "Captain, I picked up something interesting on the radio frequencies. Very faint signals coming from that area." "What kind of signals?" Jinwoo asked. "Human distress calls, sir. But they're old, maybe 40 or 50 years old. The encryption codes match ships that went missing during the Great Exodus." Jinwoo felt his heart beat faster. The Great Exodus was when humans first left Earth to find new homes among the stars. Many ships had disappeared during those early years. Most people assumed they had crashed or gotten lost in space. But these signals suggested something different. Communications Officer Kim Do-hyun looked up from his station with a frown. "Captain, I just received a message from the Galactic Council. They want us to stay away from that area." "What did they say exactly?" Jinwoo asked. Kim Do-hyun read from his screen, quote, "The region you have identified has been marked as restricted. Human vessels are ordered to maintain minimum safe distance. This is another example of human fascination with dangerous unknowns that should remain unexplored." End quote. Jinwoo clenched his fists. The Galactic Council was made up of several alien species that worked together to keep peace in the galaxy. Humans were the newest members, and many of the older species treated them like children who couldn't be trusted with dangerous toys. "Did they give any reason why it's restricted?" Jinwoo asked. "No, sir. Just that it's dangerous and we should leave it alone." Engineer Choi Minho had been listening to the conversation while checking the ship's systems. He walked over to the captain with a concerned expression. "Sir, if there are human distress signals coming from that area, shouldn't we investigate? Those could be our people." Jinwoo looked out the main viewport at the stars ahead. Somewhere in that darkness, humans had gone silent decades ago. The alien species of the Galactic Council didn't seem to care. They probably thought humans were too curious for their own good, always poking their noses into places they shouldn't go. But that curiosity was what made humans special. When other species found something dangerous, they built walls around it and put up warning signs. When humans found something dangerous, they studied it until they understood it. Sometimes, that got them into trouble, but it also helped them solve problems that other species couldn't handle. "Hana, what do you think those structures could be?" Jinwoo asked his science officer. "I'm not sure, sir. The gravity readings suggest they're artificial, not natural formations. But they're huge. Some of them might be as big as space stations, or even small cities. And they're all human-made?" "The distress signals suggest human origin, but the technology would have to be far more advanced than anything we currently have. The energy readings are unlike anything in our databases." Jinwoo made his decision. He had joined the space service to explore the unknown and help his fellow humans. He couldn't turn away when people might need help, even if those people had been silent for decades. "Set course for the boundary of that region," he ordered. "We're going to take a closer look." Park Sola looked nervous. "Sir, the Galactic Council specifically ordered us to stay away." "The Galactic Council isn't responsible for human lives," Jinwoo replied. "We are. If our people are in trouble out there, we need to help them. It's what humans do." Kim Do-yun, started preparing the communication systems to send a message back to human command. Should I inform headquarters about our intentions? Tell them we're investigating a possible rescue situation. If they want to stop us, they'll have to send another ship. As the ship changed course toward the mysterious region, Jinwoo felt the familiar mix of excitement and fear that came with stepping into the unknown. The empty space ahead might contain answers to questions humans had been asking for decades, or it might contain dangers that would destroy his ship and crew. But sitting safely in known space wouldn't help the humans who had gone silent in that darkness. Whatever waited in the void, they would face it together. The phase shift technology made a low humming sound as Captain Lee's ship crossed into the mysterious region. Jinwoo had never used this experimental equipment before, but it was the only way to enter the area without being detected by the Galactic Council's monitoring stations. Phase shift complete, announced Engineer Choi Minho from his station. We're inside the boundary now. What they saw through the main viewport made everyone on the bridge stop talking. The empty space wasn't empty at all. Massive structures floated in the darkness like giant metal islands. Some looked like cities with tall buildings and connecting bridges. Others resembled space stations with spinning sections and docking bays. Streams of blue energy connected the structures like glowing rivers in space. "This is impossible," whispered Science Officer Yoon Hana. "These structures are enormous. Some of them are bigger than our largest space cities back home." Navigator Park Sola checked her instruments with shaking hands. "Captain, the design patterns are definitely human. I can see Earth-style architecture in those buildings. But the technology is far beyond anything we can build." Communications Officer Kim Do-hyun was busy scanning radio frequencies. "I'm picking up automated signals from multiple structures. They're sending welcome messages in human languages, Old Earth languages, and colony dialects." Jinwoo stared at the floating cities in amazement. "How long have these been here?" "Based on the energy decay patterns, at least 40 years, Hana replied. "Maybe longer, but sir, they're still powered. Someone or something is maintaining these systems." As the ship moved deeper into the region, more structures became visible. There were shipyards with half-built vessels still in construction, agricultural stations with growing domes that still glowed with artificial sunlight. Even what looked like schools and parks complete with trees and water features. "It's like an entire civilization," Minho said in wonder. "But where is everyone?" Suddenly Park Sola grabbed her head and cried out in pain. "Captain, something's happening to me. I'm seeing things that aren't there." Before Jinwoo could respond, the same thing happened to Kim Do-yun. He fell back in his chair, eyes wide with shock. "I can see Earth," he gasped. "But it's burning. Ships are leaving. People are running." One by one, the entire crew began experiencing the same phenomenon. Visions flashed through their minds like old movies. They saw Earth during its final days when pollution and war had made the planet unsafe. They watched as humans built massive ships to carry people to new worlds among the stars. But in these visions, something was chasing them. Something dark and terrible that hunted civilizations across the galaxy. "These aren't our memories," Hana said, holding her head as the visions continued. "Someone else is showing us what happened." The visions showed humans discovering the cosmic threat too. Like ancient entities that fed on advanced civilizations were coming for Earth. The exodus wasn't just about finding new homes. It was about running away from predators that consumed entire species. "Captain," Minho called out while fighting through his own visions, "I'm detecting massive power sources throughout this region. The energy signatures are human, but they're unlike anything in our current technology." As the visions faded, the crew began to understand what they were seeing. The floating cities weren't abandoned. They were hidden. Humans had built this place as a refuge, using technology that somehow made it invisible to outside sensors. "But where are the people who built this?" Park Sola asked. Her answer came in the form of new readings on her navigation console. "Captain, I'm detecting life signs throughout the structures, but they're strange. The readings show consciousness, patterns, but no physical bodies." Jinwoo felt a chill run down his spine. "What does that mean?" "I think it means the people are here," Hana said slowly. but not in the way we understand life. They've become something else. Automated docking systems guided their ship toward the largest structure, a city-sized station that looked like it could house millions of people. As they approached, lights began turning on throughout the structure, as if the station was waking up after a long sleep. "Welcome home," came a voice over the communication system. It spoke in perfect human language, but there was something ethereal about it, like hearing someone speak from across a great distance. "This is Captain Lee Jinwoo of the human exploration vessel Discovery," Jinwoo responded. "Who am I speaking to?" "We are the ones who came before," the voice replied. "The ones who saw what was coming and chose to remain hidden until it was safe to emerge. We are your brothers and sisters who found another way to survive." The docking process completed, automatically. Through the viewport, they could see the interior of the station. It looked like a normal human city with streets and buildings and parks, but there were no people walking around. The place felt alive but empty at the same time. "You shouldn't have come here," the voice continued, though it sounded more sad than angry. "Your presence here will alert them to our location. The hunters will know we exist." "What hunters?" Jinwoo asked. "The ones who consume civilizations when they grow too advanced. The ones we've been hiding from all these years. By coming here, you may have doomed us all." As if responding to those words, alarms began sounding throughout the hidden cities. Warning lights flashed across the structures as detection systems activated for the first time in decades. Something was coming. Captain Lee Jinwoo led his crew through the empty corridors of the massive station. Their footsteps echoed in the silence, but the place felt alive somehow. Lights turned on automatically as they walked, and gentle music played from hidden speakers. It was like walking through a city that had been waiting for them to return home. "The life support systems are perfect," Engineer Choi Minho reported, checking his handheld scanner. "Air quality, temperature, gravity. Everything is exactly what humans need, but I'm not detecting any people." They reached a large open area that looked like a town square. There were benches, fountains, and even small shops with their windows, still lit up. But no one was there to use any of it. "Captain," Science Officer Yoon Hana called out, staring at her instruments. "I'm getting very strange readings here. There are consciousness patterns all around us, but they're not connected to physical bodies." Before Jinwoo could respond, the air in front of them began to shimmer like heat waves. Slowly, a human figure began to appear. It was a woman in a military uniform, but her body looked transparent, like she was made of light and energy, instead of flesh and blood. "Hello, Captain Lee," the woman said with a gentle smile. "I am Admiral Kang Seojin. I commanded the colony, ship New Horizon 43 years ago." Jinwoo's eyes widened. The New Horizon was one of the ships that had disappeared during the Great Exodus. "Admiral Kang. But that's impossible. Your ship was lost decades ago." "Not lost," she replied. "Hidden. We came here to escape something terrible, and we've been here ever since." More figures began appearing around them. Men and women in various uniforms, all looking like they were made of translucent energy. Some were young, others were old. All of them looked human, but clearly not alive in the normal sense. Navigator Park Sola pointed her scanner at Admiral Kang. "Captain, the readings are incredible. She exists as pure consciousness held together by some kind of quantum energy field. She's human, but she's also something more." "What happened to you?" Jinwoo asked the Admiral. "How did you become this?" Admiral Kang's expression became sad. "When we fled Earth, we discovered that humanity wasn't the only species trying to escape. There are ancient creatures that exist beyond normal space. They hunt civilizations that become too advanced, feeding on their life energy until nothing remains." Another figure stepped forward, an older man with kind eyes. "I am Dr. Nam Hyunwoo," he said. "I was the chief scientist on the research vessel Bright Future. We discovered these entities by accident when we tried to explore dimensions beyond our own reality." "The entities have been doing this for millions of years," Admiral Kang continued. "Every time a species develops space travel and advanced technology, The creatures wake up and hunt them down. They consume entire civilizations. Communications. Officer Kim Do-yeon looked confused. But why haven't they found the other species in the galaxy? The aliens in the Galactic Council seem to be doing fine. Dr. Nam smiled sadly. Because we've been protecting them. When we realized what was coming, we made a choice. Instead of running away or fighting a battle we couldn't win, we chose to become guardians. Guardians? Jinwoo asked. We gave up our physical bodies and became beings of pure consciousness, Admiral Kang explained. In this form, we can exist in the spaces between dimensions, where the entities hunt. We've been fighting them for decades, keeping them away from normal space. Science Officer Hana was scanning the area with growing excitement. The energy readings are off the charts. You're not just conscious energy. You're connected to some kind of vast network that spans this entire region. Correct, said Dr. Nam. All of us who chose this path are connected. We share our knowledge, our strength, our will to protect others. We became something greater than individual humans, but we remained human in our hearts. Engineer Minho looked around at the empty city. But why build all this if you don't have physical bodies anymore? We built it as a base of operations, Admiral Kang replied, and as a memorial to what we were. Sometimes we like to remember what it felt like to walk on solid ground, to breathe real air, to touch things with our hands. More figures appeared, filling the square with dozens of transparent humans. They all looked at Captain Lee and his crew with expressions of hope, mixed with sadness. For 40 years we've been holding the line, Admiral Kang said. Fighting creatures that exist in dimensions your science can barely imagine. We've kept them sleeping, kept them from noticing the growing civilizations in normal space. But we're getting weaker, Dr. Nam added. This form of existence takes constant energy to maintain. Every battle with the entities drains us more. We can't keep fighting forever. Park Sola noticed something troubling on her scanner. Captain, the quantum signatures of these beings are becoming unstable. They're using enormous amounts of energy just to maintain their consciousness. Admiral Kang nodded. Your science officer is correct. We're dying, Captain Lee. Slowly but surely. And when we're gone, there will be nothing standing between those creatures and every living being in the galaxy. The square fell silent as the implication sank in. These evolved humans had sacrificed everything to protect others, and now they were fading away. There is one solution, Admiral Kang said quietly. But it would require your generation to make the same choice we did. Suddenly, red warning lights began flashing throughout the station. A loud alarm echoed through the empty corridors, making Captain Lee Jinwoo and his crew jump in surprise. The transparent figures of Admiral Kang and the other evolved humans flickered like candles in the wind. What's happening? Jinwoo shouted over the noise, Admiral Kang's face filled with terror. The detection systems. They haven't activated in decades. Your ship entering this space has triggered the ancient warning networks. Science Officer Yoon Hana looked at her scanner in horror. Captain, I'm reading massive energy disturbances throughout the region. Something is responding to our presence here. Through the station's large windows, they could see the darkness of space beginning to change. What had looked like empty void was now moving, shifting like thick liquid. Enormous shapes that hurt to look at directly were stirring in dimensions that barely touched their reality. Dr. Nam's energy form became brighter as he concentrated. They know we're here now. The entities have been sleeping for so long, but contamination of our hidden space has awakened them. Contamination? Engineer Choi Minho asked. Living beings from normal space entering our refuge, Admiral Kang explained, her voice growing weak. We exist between dimensions to hide from them, but when people from the physical world come here, it creates ripples they can detect. Navigator Park Sola was frantically working at a control station that had appeared when she touched the wall. Captain, I'm getting readings from across the galaxy. There are energy buildups near every major civilization. Whatever these things are, they're preparing to move. The view outside changed again. In the distance, they could see massive tentacle-like appendages reaching across space, each one larger than entire planets. The appendages were covered in what looked like eyes, but they were wrong somehow. Looking at them made everyone feel sick and afraid. Communications officer Kim Do-hyun had connected his equipment to the station's systems. "Sir, I'm intercepting emergency transmissions from across the galaxy. The Galactic Council is reporting unusual phenomena near their home worlds. Ships are disappearing. Entire space stations are going silent." "How long do we have?" Jinwoo asked Admiral Kang. "Not long," she replied, her form becoming even more transparent. "The entities feed on life energy and advanced technology. They target civilizations when they reach a certain level of development. The Galactic Council species, your human colonies, everyone is at risk now." Dr. Nam pointed toward the viewing windows. "Look closely at those creatures. Each one can consume the life force of billions of people. They don't just kill, they feed on the potential of entire species. Every dream, every discovery, every child who might grow up to change the universe, all of it becomes food for them." Hana's scanner was showing readings that made no scientific sense. "The entities exist in multiple dimensions at once. They can attack physical reality from angles we can't even perceive. How do you fight something like that?" "We learned to exist in those same dimensions," Admiral Kang said. "But it required giving up our physical forms completely. We became beings of pure will and consciousness, able to battle them in spaces between realities." The station shook as something enormous passed nearby in dimensional space. Through the windows, they could see one of the entities approaching the hidden cities. It looked like a massive jellyfish made of darkness and stars, with writhing tentacles that reached across impossible distances. "They're testing our defenses," Dr. Nam said. "For decades we've been able to keep them sleeping by staying hidden and fighting them in their own realm. But now they know about this place." More evolved humans began appearing throughout the station, their energy forms flickering as they prepared for battle. There were hundreds of them, maybe thousands. All the humans who had disappeared over the decades were here, existing as guardians between worlds. "We can hold them back one more time," Admiral Kang said, though her voice was weak. "All of us together, using everything we have left. But it will drain our remaining energy completely. We'll fade away forever." "And then what happens?" Jinwoo asked. "Then the entities will be free to feed on every civilization in the galaxy," Dr. Nam replied. "Your human colonies, the alien worlds, everyone. They'll consume entire star systems until nothing intelligent remains." Park Sola looked up from her console with tears in her eyes. "Captain, I'm receiving distress calls from 17 different human colonies. The attacks have already begun." Outside, more entities were gathering. Each one was different. Some looked like geometric shapes that folded in on themselves. Others resembled storm clouds filled with lightning and eyes. All of them radiated hunger and ancient evil. "There is one way to stop them permanently," Admiral Kang said quietly. "But it would require your generation to make the same choice we made. Give up your physical existence and join us as guardians. Together, we might have enough power to drive them back to their sleeping realm." The station shook again as the entities pressed closer. Time was running out. "How many people would we need?" Jinwoo asked. "All of them," Dr. Nam replied. "Every human still alive would need to undergo the transformation. It's the only way to generate enough dimensional energy to defeat creatures this powerful." Jinwoo looked at his crew, then at the evolved humans preparing for their final battle. The choice was horrible. Sacrifice all of humanity's physical existence to save the galaxy, or watch as every living thing became food for cosmic predators. The entities were almost at the station now, ready to begin their feast. "No." Captain Lee Jinwoo's voice cut through the chaos of alarms and flickering lights. The word was simple, but it carried the weight of absolute determination. Admiral Kang and the other evolved humans turned to look at him in surprise. "Captain," Admiral Kang said weakly, "you don't understand. This is the only way to save everyone. The entities are too powerful to fight any other way." "I understand perfectly," Jinwoo replied. "You want my entire species to give up being human to become guardians. But that's not what humans do. We don't sacrifice ourselves when there might be another way." Engineer Choi Minho was already working at one of the station's control panels, his fingers flying over the controls. Captain, what if we don't have to choose between being physical or being energy? What if we can be both? Science Officer Yoon Hana caught on immediately. The phase shift technology we use to enter this space. It allows us to exist partially in multiple dimensions while keeping our physical bodies. It's never been tested for this kind of use, Dr. Nam protested. The risk of failure is enormous. Navigator Park Sola looked up from her console with excitement. But that's what humans are good at, taking enormous risks when the safe choice isn't good enough. Outside the station, the entities were pressing closer. Their alien forms twisted through dimensional space, reaching toward the hidden cities with appendages that could crush planets. The evolved humans were preparing to make their final stand, their energy forms growing brighter as they gathered their remaining power. Even if your idea works, Admiral Kang said, you would need millions of people to generate enough power to fight these creatures. Communications Officer Kim Do-hyun was already broadcasting on all human frequencies throughout the galaxy. Then we'll ask them, he said simply. Captain Jinwoo stepped forward to the main communication array. His voice carried across space to every human colony, every space station, every ship in the darkness between stars. This is Captain Lee Jinwoo to all human forces. I'm broadcasting from a hidden refuge where our missing people have been protecting the galaxy for 40 years. We face an enemy that feeds on entire civilizations. They've awakened and they're coming for everyone. The response was immediate. Voices flooded the communication channels from across human space. Colony governors, ship captains, ordinary families, all asking what they could do to help. The easy choice is to hide or sacrifice ourselves to become guardians like our predecessors, Jinwoo continued. But humans don't take easy choices. We're going to fight these creatures as we are, human, beings who refuse to give up. Engineer Minho had connected the station systems to their ship's experimental technology. Captain, I'm uploading the phase shift modifications to every human vessel and colony in range. The technology is spreading through our networks. What do you need us to do? Came a voice from one of the outer colonies. Link your phase shift systems together, Hana explained over the communication system. We can create a network that allows us to project our consciousness into dimensional space while keeping our bodies in normal reality. Throughout human space, people began activating the experimental technology. Ships, space stations, and planetary facilities all joined the growing network. The phase shift fields created bridges between dimensions, allowing humans to exist in multiple realities at once. Admiral Kang watched in amazement as energy readings spiked throughout the region. This is impossible. You're creating a hybrid existence that shouldn't be able to function. Impossible is just another word for something humans haven't figured out yet, Park Sola said with a grin. The entities were almost at the station now. One of them, a massive creature that looked like a storm made of hungry darkness, reached out with tentacles toward the hidden cities. But instead of finding defenseless prey, it encountered something unexpected. Millions of human consciousnesses, linked together across the galaxy, pushed back. They existed simultaneously in physical reality and dimensional space, fighting the entities on their own terms while remaining connected to their bodies and their humanity. The creature recoiled, in confusion. It had never encountered beings that could exist in multiple dimensions without giving up their physical forms. The humans were something new, something that didn't fit the ancient patterns of predator and prey. It's working, Dr. Nam said in wonder. Your hybrid existence is confusing them. They don't know how to feed on consciousness that's still connected to living bodies. More humans joined the network every second. Children in schools, farmers on agricultural worlds, scientists in research stations, all adding their will and determination to the growing resistance. The entities found themselves facing not just guardians but an entire species that refused to be victims. Admiral Kang and the other evolved humans began to change. Instead of fading away, they were gaining strength from the network connection. We can feel our physical forms returning, she said in amazement. The link is allowing us to exist in both states. The largest entity, a creature the size of a solar system, turned its attention toward Earth's sector. But instead of finding scattered colonies to consume, it encountered a united humanity that spanned dimensions. Every human voice spoke as one. We are not your food. We are not your guardians. We are human beings and we fight back. The entities, faced with prey that had become predators, began to retreat into the deep spaces between realities. For the first time in cosmic history, they had encountered a species that transformed impossible odds into victory. In the hidden cities of Voidspace, humans both evolved and physical stood together, no longer silent guardians, but united defenders of the galaxy.